Hey everybody, welcome back to Nerd News Today. I'm Matthew, and on this episode, we're taking a trip over to the wormhole. That can be misinterpreted in so many ways. Trust me, I know where I'm going with this. On this review, we're going to be taking a look at EXO-6's latest Star Trek Deep Space Nine entry with Quark. This is a 1/6 scale, 12-inch action figure of the character portrayed by Armin Shimmerman across 7 seasons of DS9 and 1 deleted scene from Insurrection. DS9 is easily my favorite Star Trek series across the board, and EXO-6 has been absolutely knocking it out of the park with their toys. And as far as 12-inch collectibles go also, I gotta admit, yes, they come with a hefty price tag, but all things considered, for the speed, for the sculpts, for the number of accessories, they're really doing an amazing job here. It's so commendable, and so I gotta support it when I can. I'm very hopeful that this Quark is gonna be just as good as the Sisko we reviewed not too long ago on this channel. And by the way, if you are new to EXO-6 Star Trek figures, I recommend you watch that video also just to see how things have changed since then, because I gotta say, if there's one thing about EXO-6, they are great at evolving very, very quickly. They are truly the Borg when it comes to Star Trek toys, and if you don't believe me, I've actually interviewed the founder of EXO-6, Schubert Tam. You can take a look at that interview as well as an interview with Armin Shimmerman on my other YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/@TrekUntold. You'll find a ton of interviews from all across the Star Trek universe there, so please check out my Star Trek podcast if you're a Trekkie, because you're absolutely going to love it. I want to get this Quark out of the box real quick. We should talk about this because there are some mint on card collectors out there, or in this case, mint on box. And the boxes from EXO-6 are very nice. It's a very simple but stunning design. I really like what they did here, and they're really emphasizing the figure that's inside the package. We do have the basic Star Trek logo and some of the typical Star Trek branding that they have to have. It's the deal that they have to make with Paramount, but that includes some great design elements, including nice little Star Trek insignias in the background, shiny Star Trek logos on the front and the sides. But really one of my favorite parts about this packaging is actually this little bit right here. This is EXO-6's Starfleet Museum insignia, and I just love how it's this raised, shiny material that looks so good on the box. Now meanwhile, on the opposite side of that packaging here, we have a look at some other DS9 characters, and heads up, they are all being produced and then some, because yeah, we've already seen some previews of some of these guys here and there, and we also know that there's going to be a Cardassian or two in the works as well, so yeah, get ready for this DS9 line to get pretty expansive the next 2 years. The back of the box, again, keeps it very simple, but keeps that really nice Star Trek look to it, and just has an image of the character here and some of the accessories he comes with, as well as a rundown of those contents. So the box is keeping it fairly simple, but really elegant, and I'm really digging it. But that's not what we're here for. We are here to unbox this Quark, and I think I'm actually going to do part of this right now, because I just want to see how this guy looks. So yeah, it is a slipcase, and that's going to give us our first look at this Quark. And this is my first time seeing it in person, and okay, I'm happy. I'm a happy customer. I'm already seeing some real great details here. There's a lot more latinum than I thought there was going to be here. Oh my god, there's the rules of acquisition. Yeah, this is going to be cool. So, you know what? Let's just cut to the chase here. It's time to unbox this Quark and get a closer look at him from all angles. And here is our EXO-6 Quark out of the packaging in hand. And this is impressive, to say the least. I mean, man, the likeness, the clothing, the fabric. We'll get to the accessories in a little bit, but let me just first give you guys a quick rotation of this figure so you can see the upper body, at least, from all angles. Because keep in mind, this is a 12-inch figure, and the way my setup is here, I don't really have a lot of leeway in pulling back wider at the moment. So yeah, for now, we're just going to enjoy Quark here in all of his glory. What a great outfit choice, by the way. Look how amazing this thing looks, just from every angle imaginable. And oh man, that likeness is killer. This is worth the money. I could say that much off the bat before we even really get into the details. Having already spent some time with this figure off camera, yes, this is absolutely worth the money. So let's go ahead now and kick things off here by taking a closer look at the head and the likeness, and let's ask the question, does this look like Armin Shimmerman? Does this look like our Quark from Deep Space Nine? And this is a resounding, oh my god, yes. You know, the one thing that EXO-6 does, which is crazy, and really few other toy companies do this, what you see when you order this toy from wherever you got it from, whether you got it from EXO-6 or you got it from Big Bad Toy Store or Entertainment Earth, is they keep updating the photos as this thing goes into production. So what you're looking at when you first order this guy is not necessarily going to be what you get in hand, because they're always working on improving it. And this Quark is just like, wow, it's amazing. So yeah, when I first saw the photos, I was a little, unsure about it, because having looked at the Sisko not too long ago, I was blown away by it, but the likeness, it was like, 1 or 2 points away from being near perfect. I think this Quark here, I think they actually got this. This is like I think it's a 10 out of 10 Quark. Like, this is it. You're never going to find a better Armin Shimerman Quark, period, besides what you've got right here in this EXO-6 figure. I mean, they really captured the eyes. That's the biggest thing. And I feel like that's one of the things they had trouble with in previous figures was capturing the eyes. And I think this time around, they totally got it correct. I mean, they got those interesting looking expressive eyes there, but the nose is spot on. The lobes are spot on. The teeth are great. I mean, that just looks like Armin Shimerman's mouth sticking out with those really weird Ferengi teeth coming out of them. Like, they got this. This is perfect. This is absolutely Quark. I dare anybody to dispute that this doesn't look like Quark, because I really, really think it does. Even the whole weird, Ferengi butt head that he's got on top, which is the coolest thing ever, by the way, seeing this, like, in this style. That's really perfect. Quark doesn't have a thing on the back of his head like other Ferengis do, and if you heard my interview with him on the Trek Untold podcast, he explains why that is. But yeah, I mean, they even got this with some great weathering and shading up top here. So every single possible angle, they got this Quark down right. And another really cool thing that might be a little bit harder to see in this video is they do have a bunch of pore detail across his head too. There's all sorts of little airbrushing to make it look like there's actual pores, plus the sculpting actually does show that as well. So we've got some serious fine details going on in this Quark head. This sculpt is 10 out of 10. This is perfect. Let's start to move down the toy a little bit and take a look at the outfit. I forget which season this is, but I want to say it's like 4 that we see him in this outfit. And I love this outfit. It's so colorful. It is perfect for Quark, down all the way to the boots. The boots are like the one thing that probably is like the most looking like a toy out of everything that's on him. Because, I mean, they almost look like Mego boots in that they're one piece. There's very little detail in them, but that's not EXO-6's fault. That's just how they are in the show. They've gone out of their way to be incredibly show accurate. I'm not even going to question it because I trust them. I'm also not that crazy guy who knows like everything inside out about the outfits. But for my money and what I'm looking for in Quark, like they nailed this. This is just colorful, beautiful outfit here. Man, the detail is just phenomenal on this. It's as simple as that. Just look at all these vibrant colors that you have in the jacket. Not only that, too, we also have some little gold pieces in here, too, because it's Quark, so you got to have some bling on him, right? So he has this little strap that's up on the top of his chest, as well as, I mean, I guess this brooch or jacket closer thingy. I don't know what to call this, but it's some kind of pin thing that's closer to the end of his jacket there. And the fabric just feels good to the touch. Like, this feels like high quality, nice fabric. This isn't like some junky stuff that you've seen in other toys. This feels good. And I've touched a lot of toys in my time. It's a weird thing to say, but for example, I've looked at a lot of soft goods on WWE figures from Mattel, and the material is nowhere near as nice as this. Like, this is smooth. It feels good to touch. Oftentimes, like Mattel figures, they don't feel that way. They feel kind of rough, and they feel kind of cheap because they are incredibly mass-produced. But this really legitimately feels nice to touch. Like, it feels like it's high-end fabric. It looks like high-end fabric. I feel like you can tell the difference just from seeing it, but touching it is a whole other thing too. Like, this feels nice. This feels like something you'd actually buy in a store. It's like real good fabric that you'd want to wear. And the pants, same thing too. Like, these just feel nice. Every angle of it. This collar is exceptional. Quark is simply looking on point here. And if you're wondering, yes, I believe that the jacket does come off. We can actually try that right now. Yeah, there's a little bit of a Velcro piece here. I'm not feeling that brave to completely take it off, but if you wanted to, I'm pretty sure you can keep going and probably keep moving his clothes, which we saw you were able to do also with the Sisko figure. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Quark can change outfits as well if you really wanted to. Why you would, I don't know. Maybe you just want to strip him down for your own pleasure. But hey, that's your own personal Ryza. I don't judge. But this shirt is so cool. I want this shirt, like, just to wear, period. This is awesome. So yeah, like I said, I'm not going to be that adventurous to take him off to completely disrobe him, but just so you guys get an idea, it is possible, and that's kind of fun. So let's talk about articulation also before we jump into accessories, because oh boy, does Quark have a lot of those. And articulation is very good here. The head is ball jointed, and that's great out of the bat. And by the way, I should mention I have not hit this figure yet with a hairdryer to loosen any of the joints. I don't really think I need to. Their stuff is pretty high quality, but in general, if you are new to action figure collecting, I do recommend you get yourself a hairdryer and just give them a quick blow over with some hot air, because that'll loosen a lot of the joints. But EXO-6 is high quality enough that I'm not super duper concerned about that. So shoulders are going to be ball jointed. Really the only hindrances, by the way, are going to be the fabric ultimately, because you can see here, this is about as far as we can go this way before the jacket starts to have some issues. Let's see how it is over here. This isn't too bad either. There will be hindrances just because of material, but this is not bad so far. I mean, Quark doesn't need to be the most dynamic, but general range of motion is so far very nice. Looks like we have a double jointed elbow. That's how we're able to get this pose like this. And you could have Quark looking all diplomatic over here if you want to have him do that. There we go. See, the waist does move a little bit here too. Our legs can move. Looks like we have a nice little buck bend as well. Yep, so we do have what looks like a chest articulation in there as well as the waist. Our legs can move. There's no thigh rotation on them, it feels like. But we do have a double jointed knee, so you can get some great flexibility there. So when he's playing Al Moraine count to 4, you'll be able to do that just fine. And legs are pretty good too. The feet aren't going to be able to move in these boots because that's just the shape of the boots, but overall, I mean, the articulation that you need for Quark is definitely there. So let's start getting into some of the accessories here, and I think we're going to begin with the hands, because Quark comes with 5 different hands for a total of 7. I'm going to do some swapping right now on camera, just to show you guys how it works. I've already got some hands here off to the side. So I'm going to start with this very wide open hand. I might not do every single hand that he comes with, but I'll give you guys at least a little glimpse of what's in there. Then we'll show you everything in a nice photo at the end. But yeah, we got a nice big open hand, so Quark can be like, what, me? And then let's go ahead and put this hand on. I think this is one of my favorite hands that he comes with. And this one here, it's basically made to, it appears to hold some kind of money perhaps in there. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, it looks like it's meant to hold something, and especially the way I've got him posed now. It looks like he's trying to bribe Odo perhaps, which we know won't work, but Quark will always try. And he's going to try with this bar of latinum, this little smaller bar of latinum to start things off here. And yeah, the fingers, by the way, are actually a little soft and rubbery. They're very malleable, so you can actually get the bars of latinum in his hand no matter what size they are. And that is really cool. Now, something I just noticed about this Quark as I was putting him on was that this hand has a peg in it. So something's got to go into that peg, right? Well, that's going to lead us to our next accessory. I'm going to take his latinum out for a moment, and this is a very cool one. I'm going to move Quark over for a second here so we can fit the entire thing on camera. We've got the Ferengi rules of acquisition in book form. This is really cool. This is a really underrated accessory. I'm excited to show this one off to you guys. So yeah, this is a hardcover book, as you can see here, and there's the little hole. That's how we're going to attach it into Quark's hand. We'll do that in a second, but I actually wanted to show you guys first some of the insides of this book, because there's actually insides to the Ferengi Rules of Acquisition. So here's the book, nice and close, and there's the front of it. Just look at all the great detail, by the way, that is in this piece here. Like, this is gorgeous looking, and it fits perfectly in your hands. And what is really cool about it, what absolutely shocked me, is when you open it, check it out. There's actually a page from the book. But as I continue to flip through the book, every single page in here has an illustration. These are not blank pages. Every single page has something on it. Now, whether or not they're all different pages, I'm not entirely sure. But from the looks of things, if they're not, there's a good amount of variety. Okay, I do see a repeat there, but that's still, it took a while to get to some of that repeat action. So no matter what, everything's actually filled in, and that's wild to me. Like, you actually have a full-on book of rules of acquisition, and it's actually got pages in it. How wild is that? So let's try and actually get this into his hands now. That's what I'm a little concerned about. I don't know how this is going to work. Let's see if it actually does work. Yeah, I feel like this is actually going to be a little bit tough to do, to get it right in that exact sweet spot, because it's such a tiny hole. It's not a very deep hole either. So might not be able to get in there. I mean, I'm sure it's doable. I can already tell I'm struggling with it, but it's not impossible. So at the very least, you can get the rules of acquisition in there. It's probably just going to take a little bit of work. For me, it doesn't look like it's happening today. Maybe let's try this another way. Let's try taking the hand off and then reattaching it and see if we can do it that way. Okay, that seems to be the way to do it. So I took the hand off, and now it's in there. Of course, the hard part is going to be reattaching it to Quark. Let's see if we can do this. I already feel like it's come off. But yeah, okay. It's not impossible, so that's what's good to know. You can do it. Maybe we can try it again right now and see if we can make this happen, because there's more accessories to go that relate to this book. All right, so I couldn't entirely get it to stay where it's meant to be in the peg hole, but he can hold it with this open hand. And there is another accessory to go with this, I believe. That would be this pen right over here, which I'm going to try and attach into Quark's other hand. And this way, it can be like he's making some new rules of acquisition or whatever he wants to do. There we go. So we can kind of fake it here. It's not entirely the same thing, but you can do a little bit of a faking job here by just kind of tucking the book under his arm a little bit. And now it looks like Quark is ready to do some new business and write some new rules of acquisition. That just looks so cool to me. So let's move on to some other hands, and while that pen is definitely not made for the rules of acquisition, I do know what it actually is meant to go for, and that's going to be this next thing here. This is a Ferengi pad. So we have the Ferengi version of the iPad. We have a different hand now. I've already swapped one of his hands out, so this is going to be the hand that I believe will be meant for holding it, and yep, that fits very comfortably into Quark's hand. So I'll give him back his pen again, which is so funny that he has like a little quill sort of pen thing to write with and do all of his business dealings with, but yeah, we'll go ahead and swap that out, and now Quark can go ahead and take some notes and do his business thing with his Ferengi pad. And the detail on this pad is just outrageous. It's got a great decal with a lot of cool stuff on it. Of course, it's going to be a little hard for our typical human eye to see, but for a 1/6 scale figure, it'll be no problem. And one really cool thing about it also is if you take it out of his hand, flip it around, you'll see it actually has a Ferengi symbol on the very top of that pad there. Now that is attention to detail, and that's the kind of stuff you expect from a company like EXO-6. Now, as far as other accessories goes, there are a few different sizes of latinum slips here. So what you're currently seeing is, we can call it maybe the medium size of latinum, but in addition to that, Quark also has a very tiny small slip of latinum. Let's go ahead and swap that out right now in his hand so you can see that. Once again, fits into his hand with no problems. Look how cute and small that is. And just for the sake of comparison as well, side by side, there's this medium one, which looks very, very nice, very shiny finish. So then for the little tiny one, we move up 2 sizes. So the medium one is the one that's been in his hand. This is a larger slip of latinum. And you can see there, again, let's do another comparison. So here's the medium one, here's the wee tiny one. Very small, very different though. And then last but not least, we have one very, very, very enormous brick of gold pressed latinum. Now we're talking, and I believe one of these hands should be able to hold it. I don't know if this is the hand that's actually meant for it, but no, okay, that's not the right hand. Let's see, I think this might actually be the, correct hand. So this is gonna be on his hand over here. So let's do that swap right now so you guys can see that. So for the most part, I think Quark's right hands are the ones that are going to hold all the monies. And there we go. So here we go, pop it in right there, and there is the brick of gold pressed latinum. Now that is really something else right there. So if you're keeping track at home, you get 1 giant piece of gold pressed latinum. You'll get 2 of the large slips of latinum, 3 of this medium size right here, and then 4 of the tiny slips of latinum. So that's a lot of latinum. You're getting a grand total here of 10 pieces of latinum total. That's a lot of latinum. All right, that's enough latinum that perhaps you could even buy a bar with on a deep space station, but, well, maybe not. That's talk for a different day. Now, I don't want to alarm Quark while he's busy crunching the numbers, but, well, Captain on deck, because here is our Captain Sisko figure, which you looked at not too long ago on this channel. See if we can get him to stand up straight. That'd be even better. And let's just do a side-by-side comparison of how these 2 toys look together. And you can already see, by the way, that one thing which is very important to these figures is that the heights are different. So, yeah, as it should be, Captain Sisko is noticeably taller than Quark, just like in real life, Armin Shimmerman would be a little bit shorter than Avery Brooks. So that right there off the bat is great. What I want to kind of focus on too is the likenesses, just so you can kind of see the improvements that they've made with their likenesses over time. So I thought that the Sisko was great, because he is the Sisko after all, he is non-linear. And if you want to see more with the Sisko, go ahead and check out my full review of him. You'll get all the details, and it's a great figure. But like I said earlier, I felt like that the likeness was very, very, very good, but it wasn't 100% there. It was like 90%, 95% there. Whereas if I go ahead and I start looking at Quark, that to me is like they nailed it 100%. Like that is absolutely Armin Shimmerman. Now I will admit that aliens tend to be a little bit easier to do just because they have more reference points in their faces to work from. You know, there's more spots to like figure things out based on the length of like lobe to this, or the nose based on where it is next to the pupils, things like that. So it can be a little bit easier to do aliens, but it's still not easy to get a likeness correct and make it actually look like a person it's meant to be. So in the case of these figures, I mean, yeah, they've absolutely been doing it. They've gotten better every single wave that they've done it in, but I gotta say this Quark is really next level when it comes to the likenesses. And well, I think our friend might be in a little bit of trouble here if the captain's doing that to him. So yeah, I think maybe he found out about the whole self-sealing stem bolt thing that's going on there, but yeah, just side by side, these things look beautiful, and I can't wait to get the rest of the DS9 crew together, because this will give me goosebumps just thinking about it. So as far as accessories go, he's got quite a lot. This is not all of them, of course. This is not all the pieces of latinum there, but it's a good amount of what you're seeing that he comes with here. And yeah, this Quark is just outrageous. I mean, If you guys missed out on this, you need to jump on board here. Now, I know the price point is very high. These figures are around 200 and up for the most part. So are they worth it is the big question, and for me, that's an easy answer. The answer is yes. And it's such an easy yes for me because I'm already deeply invested in the world of Star Trek action figures, and I've been waiting for something like this to happen for really my entire fandom. So to have 12-inch figures of Star Trek characters in photorealistic ways, that's just the dream, and it's the dream come true thanks to EXO-6. And the fact is, they're getting these guys out super quick. They're loading them up with great accessories and meaningful accessories, and they're doing everything right, and they're getting better and better with each figure that comes out, and especially the likenesses. That's really the biggest thing, is each likeness has improved over time, more and more depending on who they're doing next. And I can tell you guys, I didn't order it yet, maybe I will later on, but the Savick looks out of this world. They're getting better at their females especially, because I think they kind of struggled with that in the early days with like 7 of 9 and Janeway, but it looks like they're getting better at their likenesses. I really can't wait to see what happens in a year from now when they've really gotten into the mix, because we're now about 2 years into this EXO-6 experiment, and they've done some amazing stuff, but the fact is they are working to become a better company every single day, and it shows with their products. Now, there is one other accessory here we have today that I'm not going to really use because I don't really need to use it, honestly, but every EXO-6 figure comes with a base. So if your figures were having trouble standing up, or you want to make sure that they don't ever fall over, there is a base included with each one of them. This currently has a piece of plastic on top of it, which I'm probably just going to leave on just for my own purposes. It also comes with this little guy here. This is what you're going to hook your figure onto. It's just going to go ahead and attach into that spot over there, nestle it into there. And by the way, you can make a full-on transporter pad using all the guys, because it also comes with this additional piece here. So if you have a set that you want to kind of make into a full-on transporter pad, you can do this, and when you get all of your figures, this will be the way to do it. So yeah, but again, I haven't been using the base this entire video, so that should just show you how stable these figures are, and that's amazing. So the question is now, should you get these figures if you're a Star Trek collector? And the answer is, well, really, how much are you ready to invest in a line like this? These are high-end collectibles, and these are going to set you back a pretty penny, as we already mentioned. And if you want to get the entire bridge crew, we're talking probably close to $2,000 here, because keep in mind, we have already looked at Sisko. We now have Quark. There's also Kira. We know that a Dax, an Odo, a Bashir, and O'Brien, they're on the way as well. And I believe a Garrick is also in the works. A Gul Dukat and a Kai Wynn could be on the way also. But just focusing on the bridge crew alone, that right there, keeping in mind that these guys are about $200 each. Deluxe versions tend to be about closer to $220, $250. Getting between 8 to 10 of these guys, you're already looking at over $2,000. So it's a big investment to make it. It's not for everybody. Heck, it's definitely not even for me. I'd love to collect all these figures, but I gotta be picky. And that's honestly what EXO-6 has prescribed as well, is buy who you love, buy who you really want, and stay away from the rest just to keep your prices down. But really, honestly, the truth is buy them while you can if you really do want it. Because these prices on the secondary market have already skyrocketed to disgusting prices. And that's going to make it very inaccessible down the line. So if you like these guys now and you're seeing them today and you're like, wow, this is really cool, and you think you're ready to make this commitment, or you think you'll be able to resist being tempted by other figures down the line and you just want like this one Quark to get it, then go for it. Because the truth is, if you're not buying a ton of Star Trek toys like I already do and I already own, and you really just want that one signature figure of this character, this is it. This is not going to be topped, period. And don't get me wrong, I love the Playmates figures that came out in the 90s. Those are beautiful as well, but this is on a different level. And if you want something that's going to make your collection really stand out and look excellent, EXO-6 is the way to go. So that's our look at EXO-6's Quark figure from DS9. If you want to pick this figure up for yourself, it may or may not still be available from EXO-6's official website. I'm going to have some links to a few places where you hopefully can still find it, but also keep in mind these are limited runs, and they're very limited. So once they're gone, they're gone. There's no re-releases. That's the end of them. So in all honesty, run, don't walk to Quarks, because you're going to want to get this guy before he's gone. So until next time, I'm Matthew. This has been Nerd News Today. Thanks for watching our review of this figure. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new here to check out all the other things that we do. And if you're a big Star Trek fan, do check out my podcast, Trek Untold, wherever you listen to podcasts, or search for it on YouTube to see the video form. And we've got an interview there with Armin Sherman that is really awesome, that goes really deep into his early Star Trek history before he even played Quark. So I recommend you guys check that out. So until then, I'm Matthew. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later with more action figure reviews, statue unboxings, and everything else we do here on Nerd News Today.